Hello, everybody. This is Mac, and this is solving equations using the distributive property. We're actually going to do a lot of things. If you've looked at this earlier by going to maxtutorials.com, where you'll see lots of other videos, you'll see that this is in a sequence that's after some other things I taught. For example, combining like terms to solve, two-step equations, one-step equations. If you feel comfortable with all that, you're going to do really well in this chapter. If you feel like you may need some work on that, or maybe if you need work with negative numbers and positive numbers and how that all works, I've got videos that come before this that'll really put you on solid ground to do this video. So watching me go through, if any of this seems a little bit too fast for you, go back and watch some of these other videos and I know it's going to help you. All right, let's go on to version B. So now on these, the way they work, when you have a number in front of a parenthesis, we use the distributive property, meaning you're going to multiply by both. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 2 is 8, a positive 8. Okay, and that's going to equal 28. Now I want letters on one side, numbers on the other, so I'm just going to subtract my 8 from both sides. And I'm going to have a 4x equals 20, and then I'm just going to divide by 4. Okay, sorry, my dog's freaking out a little bit, so he's kind of shook his ear there. Okay, I think he wants food, but you know what? I just fed him. He's a needy that way. All right, I'm going to go on the number 2 because it's a little different. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times positive 6 is positive 12. Notice how I'll say positive and negative. It really helps to keep that straight. Now I'm going to copy everything else. I didn't do anything with that 5. I didn't do anything with the 25, so I just copied. Now before I start solving, I noticed what I did in the last video is that I'm going to have like terms on the same side. Don't do like -5, -5. I'll see people do that. Remember, you only do the opposite when you're crossing over the equal sign. We're not crossing over, we're staying on the same side. When you stay on the same side, you just do the math. 12 plus 5 is that's going to be a positive 17 equals 25. Now, letters on one side, numbers on the other. I'm just going to subtract my 17. And now I have 2x equals 25 minus 17 is 8. Divide each side by 2. And I'll get an x equals 4. There we go. Number 4. Let's do our distributive property. Oh, wait, I got to go back here. Negative 5 times x, negative 5 times negative 3. So it'll be a negative 5x. A negative times a negative is a positive 15. And that will equal 20. Okay? So now I want to get my letters on one side, numbers on the other. So I'm going to subtract. What was that? I'm going to subtract. I am going to subtract. Sorry, this is being a little bit weird on me. Okay, I'm back to it. Subtract 15. They go away. Negative 5x equals just a normal 5. I divide each side by a negative 5. Please keep watching your negatives. And a positive divided by a negative, that's a negative 1. Let's go on to number 4 here. Okay, so now 4 times x is going to be a 4x. 4 times the negative 5 is a negative 20. And I'm just going to copy the negative 4 equals 20. Now I see that I have like terms. 4x, add a line, change a sign. Signs are the same. So I'm going to add, and I'm going to keep the sign. And that's going to equal 20. So now, letters on one side, numbers on the other. I need to move to 24. I'm just rearranging the furniture. I'm just moving people to other sides. I'm going to get 4x equals 20 plus 24 would be a 44. And if I divide 4 by each, you could probably see that x equals 11. Okay, let's go on to number 5 here. Okay, 6 times x and 6 times 1. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times positive 1 is positive 6. Equals 42. Hopefully you're seeing this right now that I'm, oh, not 7. My eraser part isn't working. There we go. Minus 6, boom, die. 6x equals, that would be a 36. And then once I divide each side by 6, I'm going to get an x equals 6. All right, let's go on to number 6 over here. So here I'm going to take the 3. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times positive 4 is positive 12. And then I'm just going to drop down the 6 and the 27. I have like terms, so I'm going to combine them to a plus 18. And then now I'm just going to subtract that 18 from both sides. A lot of people try to do some of this in their head. They can kind of see where it's going. Ah, I see what's going on. There, my answer is 3. I already know that. You know what? Just take an extra little second and write it down. And then, a lot of times when you get things wrong, it's not because you don't know what you're doing. You do know what you're doing. You just do some things in your head and you do something silly. How many times have you gotten wrong answers and you know it's because you did something silly? -7 times 2 is a -14, where if you just wrote it down or took a minute, you knew you would get it right. -14, what's the opposite? +14. +14. Boom, die. -7x equals now. What is this? Signs are different, so I'm going to subtract. So I get 21. I keep the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is negative, so it's minus. Okay, now I'm going to divide each side by -7. And again, if that's a little quick for you, make sure you go back and see the other videos on Max tutorials where I talk a lot about negative numbers. I talk a lot about solving equations. And so that's all on the videos. 5x is 5x. 5 times -6 is -30. I'm going to add 10 to both sides. Now, I have like terms on the left. So when I have like terms, I just combine them together. Signs are different, so I'm going to subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number, and that equals 20. Now I'm going to add 20 to both sides. Why do I do that? Because it'll become a 0 there. Okay, and I'll get a 5x equals 40. Divide each side by 5. Oh, I'm getting really close. X equals 8. Boom. All right, let's go on to number 9. 8 times x is 8x. 8 times -4 is a -32. And that all equals 16. I'm going to add 32 to both sides. And once I do that, I get an 8x equals 30. See, did I do that right? That's a 16. That was my mistake right there. I was going to say that didn't seem like it was going well. So look at that. I even make little mistakes, okay? So always be very careful. Boom, 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 die. X equals 6. Okay, let's go on to number 10. So I'm going to do 6 times both. This is called the distributive property I'm doing. So I did that, and I'm just going to copy everything else. I'm not going to try to do more than one step at a time, because if I do everything one step at a time, I'm usually going to do this right. Add a line, change a sign. Signs are different, so I'm going to subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number, which is negative. And that's going to equal 18. Now, letters on one side, numbers on the other, so I'm going to add 6 to both sides. I'm going to get 6x equals 24. And once I divide each side by 6, I get x equals 4. All right, going on to number 11. Now here, we got to be very careful with our negative signs. -2 times x is -2x. What is -2 times -9? Positive 18. And that's all going to equal -10. So now I have to subtract 18 to get rid of it on the left. And I'm left with a -2x, just copying it down, equals, add a line, change the sign, -28. And then once I divide everybody by -2, I go negative divided by a negative is a positive. And so I get a positive 14. All right, let's go on here to number 12. I'm going to take that 7 and I'm going to multiply it by both. And I'm going to get 7x minus 42 plus 5 equals 12. Now I have like terms, so 7x minus 37 is going to equal 12. Well, now I want to get rid of that 37, so I'm just going to add it to both sides. Boom, die, and I get 7x equals 49. I know you know the answer already, but just do the process. X equals 7. That took like an extra 3 seconds. Okay? That's all right. Take the 3 seconds. 9x. I know life is short, but it's not that short. Okay, equals 72. So now I'm going to subtract my 27 from both sides. And now I've got to do a little bit of math. Okay, let's see. That's going to become a 5, and that's going to become a 4. And you can do that however you want to. You learn how to subtract in grammar school probably, so use whatever method you that worked out for you there. Okay, boom, 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 boom. I went boom, boom. And I guess I did do it in my head a little bit, so I apologize. I'll try not to do that in the future. Okay, now I'm going to distribute to 8. And I'm going to get 8x plus 16 minus 16 equals 32. Well, 16 minus 16, however I want to write it, they go away. And I'm left with 8x equals 32. And then once I go like this, boom, 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 x is going to equal 4. Okay, let's go on to number 15. Now, I have a negative. I'm leading with a negative, so you got to be careful. -6 times x is a -6x. -6 times a -2 is a positive 12, and that's going to equal 24. Now, we're just going to do our normal two-step equation. We're going to have letters on one side, numbers on the other. Boom, die. -6x equals 12, and once I divide each side by a -6, a positive divided by a negative is a -2. Oh! Sorry about that. All right, going on to number 16. I'm going to distribute the 9 across both of these, okay? So now I'm going to go 9 times x is 9x. 9 times negative 8 is negative 72. Plus 9 equals 18. I'm just copying. Now look at these. Like terms, I got to combine them. 9x minus, what is 72 minus 9? That would be a 63 equals 18. You can always go on the side here, if that helps you out. So if that helps you, that's fine. Do it. Plus 63 plus 63. Notice I haven't used a calculator on any of this. 9x equals 81. Once I divide each side by 9, sorry, that got a little crowded there. X is going to equal 9. 4 more here. Thanks for hanging in there. 3 times x, 3 times 5. That's going to be 3x plus 15 equals 36. I'm going to move my 15 over here. Boom, die. And I'm going to get 3x equals 21. And once I divide each side by 3, I get a very simple x equals 7. All right, going on to 18. If I go 2 times x, I get 2x. If I go 2 times 10, I get a positive 20. The minus 2 equals 20. I have like terms. 2x, what's 20 minus 2? That's positive 18. That's going to equal 20. I want to get rid of that 18, so I have to do the opposite of it. And the reason why, a plus 18 and a minus 18, they go away. They become 0. And now I'm going to get a 2, and once I divide each side by 2, I'm going to end up with an x equals 1. All righty, let's go over here to 19. Negative 4 times x is just a negative 4x. But what is a negative 4 times positive 7? That is a negative 28. And that's going to equal my negative 12. Now, letters on one side, numbers on the other. Let's add that 28 to both sides. Once I do that, they go away. Negative 4x equals, signs are different, so you subtract them. Keep the sign of the bigger number, which is positive. So I leave it just like that. I'm going to divide by a negative 4. Please don't forget that negative. And x is going to equal negative 4. 16 divided by negative 4 is negative 4. Last one. 4 times x is going to be a 4x. 4 times positive 7 is a plus 28. Minus 4 equals 44. Like terms. 4x plus 24 equals 44. Move that 24 to the right by doing the opposite, which will be a minus. And I'm going to get 4x equals 20. And once I divide them, I'm going to nice little x equals 5. Okay? And so there, I have an answer key below, but you can see how nice and pretty, penmanship's not pretty, but the form is, okay? And you should have a process too. So that's how we use a distributed property. And of course, we added some, combining like terms, some two-step problems, some one-step problems. If you notice, every video we're doing, I'm adding a little bit and we're doing it one step at a time and making it nice and easy for you and giving you a process. So hopefully that helped you out. Hopefully you're getting all these right. If not, I do have a version C that you can look at and I will help you on the version C. If not, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. You guys are doing great.